All right, guys, we are live. Music off. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. We are live around the world. Welcome to a brand new edition of Coffee with Goughy. This is the live show for you to come on and ask your questions. We've built an amazing community around the world, and I'm going to give you a chance every single week. I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. There it is. It's coming there. I'm going to give you a chance to ask me questions every single week. Coffee with Goughy. Mine is an extra hot latte with 3 sugars. What is yours? Type into the chat. Let's start there. So we're on Instagram right now. Hello to people on Instagram. You're going to be able to join in and ask questions on this one. And we're also on YouTube, I believe. We're on LinkedIn and we're on Facebook as well. So we're all over the world. So share this out for me. If you are on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, wherever you are, do me a favor, share this thing out for me so that I can reach and impact as many people as possible. How's my tech team doing? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. We're live.
Confused faces.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Don't spook me. We're all over now. People are coming in. Jay's following me. Jay's watching me, which is good. So here we are. We are live with a brand new show. We're in Orlando, and this is, like I said, it's your moment. It's your chance to shine. Come on in and ask us questions. This is it's a chance for us to bring the global PT community together live every single week. So you can look out for this. Get your coffee. I'm going to have my first little sip. Will anybody mind? Am I allowed to have a coffee with myself while we're doing this?
No, we're good. Taking mine too.
Oh, I do like it extra hot next time. Please, guys,
a little lukewarm.
I think we need some better cups as well. This is marketing Starbucks right now.
Yeah, cover that up.
I'm not a fan of marketing other companies, so can I get my own coffee cups this time next week, please? Oh, yeah. We've got a producer in the team now as well. He's good for something. We figured out what Andrew's good for. Thanks, Andrew. We figured out why we've been paying you for the last 9 months. So, Coffee with Goughy. And the way this is going to work for those of you listening live, thank you as well, by the way, for joining us on Facebook and wherever else you are. It's your chance. So you can get in touch. We've had people already who've got in touch on Instagram and asked me a question, and we're going to talk through them live. This is the cool thing. I don't know what the question is, and this is going to happen every week. I prefer to be spontaneous, and I love this at my events. I do hot mic sessions at all of my events, and I never know the question, and I don't want to know the question in advance. So whatever you shout at me, guys, is going to be the question for today. But in the future, as you're listening to this, you're going to be able to ask me a question in the DMs on Instagram and join live. If we've got time, we'll answer everybody's questions. I'll do my best as we get to people, and we'll answer your questions, whatever that might be. So should we get going with the first?
Yeah. So
this is Jay. What do you do around here? Let's introduce everybody in my team. This is Jay.
So I'm the brand.
And where you come from?
I'm Jason Massey. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Big Lions fan, and I go blue. So
big Lions fan. Tell me, what does that mean?
Just Detroit Lions. So
Lions.
I mean, we make the playoffs this year, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. A few years.
All right. Let's not turn this into the Pat McAfee show.
No, absolutely not. Brand manager here, kind of like a hybrid role. I do a little bit of everything, but I've been here for about 6-7 months. I like it. It's cool.
Nice.
It's all right.
Anything else? Website, Instagram handle.
Yeah, if you're looking for coaching,
you want to go viral.
It's a new course. That's good.
All right. Tell me, what's the question?
All right, we have a question from Rachel in Florida.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah, no. At what point do team issues stop being a staff problem and start being a leadership problem?
So, what point do staff problems? At what point do company problems stop being a staff problem and start being a leadership problem?
Yes.
I mean, they've always been a leadership problem, is the reality. So I'll just give that context again. So at what point do problems in a business stop becoming staff problems and start becoming leadership problems? The reality is every problem inside of a business is a people problem, and every people problem is a leadership problem. I was asked at Christmas, how do I build a business, right? My uncle is in awe of the number of staff that I've got around the world. And he said to me, how do you do that? How do you run a business with that many people? And I said, to be honest, Mike, you don't really run a business. Business is a mystical kind of figure. It's a mystical thing. What we all do is we manage people, right? So running a successful business is really down to managing people successfully. And in nearly all cases, once you hit 5, 6, or 7 staff, it becomes a challenge, because it's impossible for any one individual to manage well both themselves, the needs and the responsibilities of the business, and the habits, the standards, and the behavior of 6 or 7 people. And in the end, what typically happens when a business gets to 5 or 6 staff, when you've got weak leaders, you end up with a democracy inside of the business, and you end up with everybody who is allowed to have their own opinions, and everybody who's allowed to do what they think is best, but ultimately it isn't always what's best for the business. And that's where strong leadership kicks in, when it's the problem and the perennial challenge for almost every business owner is how do I manage not just myself and lead not just myself, but how do I manage the 5 or 7 people in the company? And in the end, it does expose weak leadership. When a business flatlines and a business stalls, it's nearly always because of weak leadership. And I could be a good leader at a level, let's say $1 million, but if I'm struggling and I flatlined at $1.5 million, it's because I've become a weak leader at that level. I can't make the decisions required of a $1.5 million business. Therefore, I'm weak at that level. I need to make bigger decisions and better decisions. So if I'm at 200,000 a year, I'm at 20 grand a month, and I have 2 members of staff, and they both just do what they want, and they both come in when they want and decide that they want to work from home, and their priorities are more important than my businesses, then I'm by definition, I'm a weak leader, and I'm allowing other people to get what they want over and above the needs of the business. And that's not how businesses are supposed to be. The best route that any business has for serving others is to make sure it's successful. And that's something that's lost on a lot of people these days, in the PC bullshit world that we live in the political climate that we're in. All business owners are made to feel guilty for having rules and for having standards, because the politicians don't want anybody to have any standards or any rules. It's blatantly obvious. The standards have gone in most places, in most states, in most cities. The standard is do what you want, and that's counterintuitive to how a business needs and has to be run and be successful. Now, we can be fair to people, but we have to manage standards, and we can still be nice to people. So you show me a business that's flatlined, and I'll show you a weak leader. That's the nuts and bolts of most businesses, and I think privately most people secretly admit that's the issue is them, and all roads lead back to them. We can hide it as a marketing problem, and even most marketing problems are weak leaders, because they won't put their name out there, they won't spend more money on ads, they won't do social media, they're frightened of the pushback, they're frightened of the peer groups who are criticizing them, they're frightened of the assholes on Instagram or X commenting on their exercises that they're giving or their advice that they're giving. People like Adam Meekins and various others out there who will criticize you for everything you say, everything you do. You'll jump all over any exercises that you give, and there's dozens and dozens of people out there who are doing that these days, and their whole default is to pull you down and make a mockery of you. And that takes somebody to be very, very strong as a leader to see past that and get past that. So I absolutely think that the challenge inside of the business isn't always people. If it's gone on for 90 days or more, it's a weak leadership problem. Not to 90 days, we don't know who those people are. We don't know their attitude. We don't know their standards. We don't know what their beliefs are. We don't know whether they are as in love with the business as they said they would be in the interview. So not to 90 days, you're figuring those things out. You're dating each other essentially, and if it's still going on 6 months, 9 months, 12 months later, then you've got a weak leader. And essentially all businesses are growing at the strength and the speed of the leader. And that's why I encourage people to be around other successful leaders. It's impossible to do it on your own, because it's you living with challenge, and you think you have to because everybody around you is telling you that's the way it is these days. All of a sudden you go meet another successful business owner and he says, actually, that's not the way to run a company, and there is a better way, and he's how to do it. And all of a sudden you get a little bit of strength, and you're off to the races, and before you know it, your problems moved on. So yeah, I think for anybody listening to this, the problem isn't the people, the problem is the leader of the people, and the leader of the people usually has a problem called insecurity, and they have that because most of us have it, and most of us live with it all of our lives. We've got to face up to that. So business ownership is brutal. It's not for the weak. It's a privilege to be a business owner, but it's brutally tough unless you've figured out what you want, and you're very determined to get it, and you're set your stall out and your standards, and you make sure that you kind of stand and fall on those standards. And if not, what else have you got? You don't really have much else left in business. So there we go. That's my answer. I think most problems in business are weak leadership problems. What's next? What else have we got? Let's see who's joining us on Instagram. Say hello. Who have we got? We've got Physio Hooper. Hooper, where are you from? We've got West Chiropractic, Jez, I think that's you, Andrews. We've got Elora somewhere. Arise Physical Therapy is in here as well. Let's give everybody a shout out. I've got Sweeter2937 as well. So whoever you are, nice to see you. Type into the chat and answer me or ask me one or two questions. What else have we got? Anybody on Facebook? Anybody talking? Anything's going on? What's the next question that we
got a few people on YouTube. I'm looking for the names. Okay, we got Derek here. My clinic completely depends. Derek's from New York.
Okay. The only place we're not answering questions is California because it's just all bullshit. Right? That's the first thing I'm. New York and California questions. Even I can't help them. Right? They need a fucking election up there to help that lot in business. Right? That is well outside of my comfort zone. Helping anybody in California. Only joking.
As long as Michigan's good, we're cool.
Michigan, well, Michigan's close. You not so bad at that. But California questions, I think we should strongly. We'll have to have a debate as to whether or not we're going to ever invite California or New York-based questions, because the answer to every one of those questions is change the governor, right? That's it. That's it, right? Or move, basically. The answer to every question from anybody from California is move. There you go.
All right. Well,
I've got people problems. Move. Yeah. I can't afford to live. Move. I've got a problem. Move. Yeah. My marketing's too expensive. Move.
That's right, good. Okay, so Derek from New York. Sorry, Derek. My clinic completely depends on me for everything. What am I doing wrong here?
My clinic completely depends upon me for everything. What am I doing wrong here? All right. I suspect a very common challenge that many business owners, particularly early phase, usually around about 5 to 7 staff. This is where it gets fun in businesses where you see this. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Big, broad question. Failing to delegate is the obvious answer. But nearly always what happens when somebody fails to delegate, it's because they think that they can do it better, in which case they've got a huge ego, and that is killing you. So you are the best, and the problem is you're the best. Here's the phrase I was once taught. You can do everything very well. The problem is you can do everything very well, right? And that follows you, and that comes with you wherever you are, and you take that mindset to everything that you do. And you find that you grow payroll, but you've still got all of the responsibilities and tasks on your shoulders, if you like. So the problem is Derek can probably do everything well, and that's his issue. He can do it better than most people at this point. But the real issue is, and this is where it gets quite deep for business owners to understand, the reason that people continue to do things in spite of paying others, it's nearly always because they can't live with the consequence of it going wrong if that staff person doesn't do it to the level that they could. And that really strikes at the heart of what business ownership is about. Can I live with somebody in my team not doing the job as well as I could? So I've got this big ego, right? All business owners have got big egos, and we have to have big egos. And nobody should ever knock that out of you, because for us to think that we can do things better than the employees that we left behind, or the employees that we left behind, suggests that we've got a pretty big ego. And that's good, and you should always keep that. But when I won't let somebody do something in my team because I'm frightened of the reaction from, let's say, a patient, if it isn't as good as if I did it, then I think that plays at the heart of a business owner who can't deal with rejection, can't deal with criticism, can't deal with any form of pushback or a negative conversation with somebody, because they think it exposes them. And in the reality, it just exposed a situation with somebody that needed training or needed help or needed some guidance in your team. But business owners typically won't pass the ball to another member of staff because they worry so much about how they feel and what they think it says about them if the thing that gets dropped smashes inevitably. And that's the bit that business owners never really conquer. They've got to figure out how do they get their heads around 80% being good enough, and understanding that 5 lots of 80% is better than one lot of 100% that the business owner is capable of. And that's ultimately how we grow businesses. And that's the whole definition of leverage. Leverage is, by definition, I got more done with less. So I was able to get more things done because I had 5 people. And yet they may not, it may not have been done as well as I possibly would have done it. But the goal is not to do it perfect. The goal is to do it good enough, which is something Dan Kennedy taught me very, very early. The GE spot is the play. The GE spot wins in life. And millions around the world would agree that the GE spot is good enough, and good enough is good enough, and that's what you've got to cling to or aim for in business. And anybody that shoots for perfection, good luck. You'll never find it. It doesn't exist, and it usually is just a smoke screen for I'm working on it and not actually getting the thing out of the door because I'm frightened of the criticism that comes if this thing isn't perfect. So it really exposes a business owner's emotional regulation and their belief in themselves. And until that's fixed, it's very, very difficult for business to move on. So good luck to Dave or Derek up there in New York. I mean, good luck because he's in New York, figuratively, but good luck with dealing with that, because that's what has to happen. Derek needs to get some more belief in himself, and you do that through acquiring skills, business and personal skills. A lot of people asking these questions are going to ask it who are fantastic physios and are now in a completely different game. They're dealing with people, dealing with the emotions and the habits and the standards of other people, and they don't know how to address that. They're dealing with customers who are going to complain. When Derek worked in a mill-like clinic or he worked in a big hospital system in New York, if Derek fucked up, the hospital system got the bad review. If Derek fucks up now, his business gets the bad review, and he takes that personally, and he takes that to bed. If Derek hasn't figured out how to deal with that yet, Derek possibly doesn't even know that this is his real challenge, that he's worried about what other people say and think. So Derek has to face up to that and be aware of it to start with. And then he has to understand that the way he deals with it is by becoming a little bit more aware of himself. This is the first step, becoming more aware of the actual problem and not trying to fix the problem that isn't by just abdicating and giving people things that they can't do. But when you advance your business skills, you get more confident and you get more belief in yourself, and you start to get more things right, and you get more marketing right, and you get sales right, and you get 1 or 2 more hiring decisions right. When you realize that you're becoming more skilled, you get more right, you get more confidence, you do more things, and you do more things, you acquire more skills, you become more confident, and you get more things right, and you're on just a wonderful circle or a wonderful path and a wonderful treadmill at this point, in a good way. And obviously the third thing is get around successful people who are telling you that inevitably you will get pushback, and somebody who's doing $2 million is still getting criticism and still getting a bad review on Glassdoor and still getting a patient who leaves a bad review on Yelp, but they're going to run their business successfully anyway. It's irrelevant. One individual who didn't get the joke, it does not matter. So Derek needs to get a little kind of belief in himself. He needs to develop his business skills to get some more confidence that will help him when he runs his business. And he needs to be around other successful people who are also running businesses, but dealing with shit and dealing with pushback from staff who might not want to do more work or not want to work as hard, and so on and so forth. So good luck to Derek. I do like New York, actually. I like Broadway, right? I like Manhattan and Broadway. That's about as far as it goes. Fifth Avenue and all that jazz. Yeah.
I've never been. Only in Home Alone have I seen anything that looks pretty good. So
come on, then, what we got? What's next?
Okay, we got Stone. We got Pete Stone, Stoneth, I believe, 99. PT in South Carolina here.
Let me do his handle. What's he called?
Stoneth.
We should have some fun with the handles. Let's see who designed their Instagram handle when they were 14.
Okay.
And now regrets it.
Right, okay. This is from YouTube.
YouTube. Yep.
Stoneth 99.
Stoneth.
Stoneth.
Stone. Okay.
STONETH 99.
STONETH 99.
Stoneth. PT in South Carolina here.
PT in South Carolina. Okay.
Yep.
Going to a cool state now. I like South Carolina.
Okay. What's the best strategy for marketing digital products such as mini courses and ebooks? Is it better to focus on 1 or 2 social media platforms or shotgun across multiple?
All right, I can see this in my thread here. So PT in South Carolina, what's the best strategy for marketing digital products such as mini courses and ebooks? Is it better to focus on 1 or 2 social media platforms or shotgun across multiple? Well, my advice, I can only ever give you what I do, right? Because it without being egotistical, although I do have a big ego, it seems to work, right? Whatever I do seems to work. When we focus on one thing, when we focus on multiple things, it normally goes wrong. So my advice is always pick a lane, whether it's Instagram, which is pretty much what I did in 2025. We picked a lane called Instagram, and we figured out what the message needed to be, what the audience needed to be, what the call to action was. And we spent 6 to 8 months doing that. And then all of a sudden we start looking at Facebook and realize that there's a different type of message that's required on Facebook. If Instagram is a lot more entertainment and motivation, Facebook is a lot deeper, it's a lot more personal. So if you look at the different channels that I have, you'll see a different type of conversation going on. You'll probably be able to see it. LinkedIn is a lot more authoritative. So you're required to have a different type of conversation with somebody on social media platforms. It can't be the same. It's easy just to press share on all of them, and that's better than nothing, by the way. But it isn't going to be as effective. So I would say attack one, depending upon who your client is. As with all conversations that are tactical, and how do I sell or how do I get, it nearly always goes back to who is my audience, who's my client, who's my customer. Once I know that, then I can decide what the channel is that I go to. So if your client is a lady in her 50s, Stone F99, next, whenever you ask me questions, guys, as well, just pop your name in so I know who you are. I like to say hello. It always depends upon who your client is. If my client's in her 50s, she's on Instagram. If my client is a business owner and you're running a course for how to be the most energetic leader you can be in fitness and health for a CEO, well, you're probably looking at LinkedIn. If you're hitting, I don't know, a lady or a lady with 2 kids, maybe in their 20s, you're on Facebook probably. There might be a path there to get to her. So it depends upon who the client is as to what and which channel you choose. But to answer your overarching question, is it better to focus on 1 or 2 social media platforms or go shotgun? I would go 1 with the absolute intention of getting to 2 and 3 and 4 as fast as you can. Dominate on 1, because my lesson for you is that each platform requires a different type of message and video, and a different type of you. Like I said, Instagram, entertainment and inspiration. LinkedIn is more authoritative leadership kind of, thought leadership type conversations, and Facebook's more deep and personal, lessons learned, those types of things. So pick a lane, master it. But the key and the magic for everybody listening is and this is where I see people slip up. It's very easy to dominate on Instagram. And then when you try to dominate on Facebook or LinkedIn, you get a little bit of traction, but you lose the traction that you built up on Instagram. Successful businesses are built on the ability to create simultaneously be successful across all platforms, and that's how you scale and you grow very, very quickly. So hope that answers your question. I've got one. Oh, here we go. Present shit. I'm not sure
Present shit.
Present shit.
It's an Instagram tag. So no. How do you build a serious business in Canada when patients expect care to be cheap or covered?
I mean, I'd start by any question about a serious business when the fucking Twitter handle is present shit or whatever. Like, I think we need to look at that first, right? Is this a parody account? Is this an AI account? Or is this dude real? Is he real?
Yeah, it looks real.
Is he real?
Yeah.
So present shit, right? What's his name? Do we have a name?
Present shit. That's what we got.
All right, Canada. We can't slag the Canadians off too much because Sam's in it. Sam, where are you from? Ontario. We have a staff member from Ontario in here. So I'll be careful. How do you build a serious business in Canada when patients expect care to be cheap or covered? I mean, I don't know how you do anything serious in Canada these days with the government going on up there, but that's another conversation. I'm feeling this is going to be a political conversation. Can we just stick to the lives and all that sort of shit that's going on? But well, look, I can speak to that very, very quickly and very confidently, to be honest, because I come from England where healthcare is completely free. Right? There's maybe 1% of the population have got healthcare, if that, right? And they pay for that usually themselves or the business pays for it. But very, very few. So 99% of people in Britain don't have healthcare. How do you sell something that's free when patients expect it? Well, you stop selling the thing that's free, right? It's as simple as that. In England, how could I ever sell physiotherapy when everybody knew that they could get physiotherapy for free, right? It would be crazy of me to try and advertise physio. So what's the mistake that everybody makes in England who's running a physio clinic? They advertise physiotherapy, right? Yet their doctor, their GP, offers them a referral for free for physiotherapy. So the biggest mistake that everybody's making when you've got competitors who are cheaper than you is to offer in marketing is to try and sell your services. You don't sell physiotherapy. We sell arms, we sell back pain, we sell terrific lives. We sell recoveries from back pain, but terrific lives. In the end, at the back end of my running the Polgoff physio rooms, I played a game with my staff to get them to go through the day and then the week and then the month without ever using 2 words. Are you ready? I got them to do the entire day on the phone or in the treatment room without ever mentioning the word pain and without ever mentioning the word physiotherapy, because I never wanted to be a pain clinic and I never wanted to be a physiotherapy clinic. So we got through any conversation with leads or marketing or anybody inquiring without ever telling them about physiotherapy. We never spoke about it, and we never discussed pain. We acknowledged if they mentioned it, and we asked about their discomfort and things that it was getting in the way of and all of these things. But we moved away from ever talking about pain and physiotherapy. And you show me a clinic that's struggling to sell in Canada or get clients. You show me a client in the UK that can't make it work in Australia, or you show me a clinic, cash-based clinic in America, right? The classic bullshit that I hear here, the whinging and the whining, is that nobody wants to pay cash pay when they can use their insurance. Well, that's the exact same thing as me basically saying nobody wants to pay for private physio in England when it's free on the national health. So stop selling physiotherapy, for crying out loud. Stop becoming a physical therapist. You came out of college and the lecturer told you that you have this wonderful qualification in physical therapy that everybody wants to buy. And as 99% of the cash pay profession are finding out, people don't want to buy cash pay physical therapy when they can get it for very, not free, but a lot cheaper using their insurance. So become something else, evolve, become something for somebody. Become the golf guy, or become the triathlon guy, or the recovery specialist for ladies in their 50s, or pelvic floor for guys or females in their 30s. Stop being a physical therapist and start helping people live terrific lives. And you'll probably be competing with 2 or 3 people as opposed to competing with 10 or 15 or 20 people. So I think that needs to be, that needs to be addressed. And this is something that every single week, and it still does in a lot of people eventually come into our programs and they'll have tried for 2 years and they'll tell us this is what pisses me off with people's mindsets, and it costs them a fortune. This is going to cost you a fortune, this type of mindset, where for 2 years you'll struggle and you'll convince yourself that in a small town in Myrtle Beach or somewhere like that in South Carolina, wherever you are, in Greensboro, or is that South Carolina's Greensboro? And,
I believe so,
yeah, all that type of area. Exactly. Oh, that's North Carolina. Myrtle Beach, I'm sure, is South Carolina. But I've been up there into the Greensboros and all that kind of area. Asheville's. These towns are very, very good at convincing themselves that it's difficult. It's a challenge and nobody will do it. But what they do is they compete with everybody in their town. And they'll tell me that they can't do it, and nobody in their small little sleepy town will pay cash pay, and cash pay won't work around here. It's as old as time. But ultimately, you go look at their website and it screams physical therapy clinic, and you go look at their service and it screams physical therapy, and you call their office and it's a boring, drab, dull physical therapy clinic like every other health insurance clinic around America. So it isn't that cash pay doesn't work. It's that you got to go a different way to get there to do it. So that's my answer. Stop selling physical therapy, fall in love with the outcome, fall in love with the client, and build something special for them that they specifically want. And instead of trying to chase 1,000 clients in 2026, chase 100, but have them spend 10 times more. And that's absolutely doable. And that's what people are doing to this day. So what else have we got?
You did get a compliment. You got a compliment. Looking good, Paul. This is from West Chiropractic. Looking good, Paul. Fresh haircut. How can we win the Ashes in 2 years?
So this is a cricket question, which I like. I'd like a little bit of sport involved in this show, please, because it does. I'm not going to say it's will lighten the mood, let's say, and it just shows you what the international audience is that we've got here. So we can go from Canada, we can go into South Carolina, we can go up into Crazy Town in New York, and now we're back in England. What do we do to win the Ashes? Change the strategy, Jez. Change the strategy. Stop trying to win a 5-day cricket game by playing 20 over cricket. Simple as that, right? Stop trying to beat somebody at the game that they are fantastic at by playing a game that they also beat us at. So it's crazy, but Jez, nice to see you. What else have we got?
All right, we got a California one.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Whatever. So which part of California were we headed?
It doesn't say. I'm assuming LA.
All right. Is it crazy? Is it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, here we go. So my answer, you know what the answer is going to be? It's always going to be move. right? Let's just say it's always going to be money.
All right. She said, Lindsay, California. I constantly struggle to charge more, even though I know I'll get the results. Why does it still feel wrong?
Say this again.
I consistently struggle to charge more, even though I know.
I consistently struggle to charge more, even though
I know I'll get the results.
Even though I know I'll get the results.
Why does it feel wrong?
Why does it feel wrong to charge more? Because you care more what people think about you than what you do for them. Cool. Do we have a mic drop? Sound bite? Yeah.
Is there a mic drop?
That was your cue.
That was
your cue. That's not quite a mic drop, but it'll do for today. So can we get a mic drop for next? Can we get a boom? In fact, can we just
got you?
Boom. So the reason that it feels wrong is because you care more about what they think of you than what you are doing for them. So let that land, everybody who's listening to this. You're relying upon their opinion of you being so high, and everything in your life is attached to how somebody feels about you, and you are neglecting the amazing job that you do for them. And until you change that, this will haunt you forever. Every single one of you listening to this, it will haunt you forever unless you start focusing on the things that you do for people, not the opinion that they have of you. Now, this is something that started as a teenager, and you become obsessed. Harder and harder in this day and age because of social media. You become obsessed with what people think about you, and you have forgotten what good you're doing in this world. Now, the reality is we didn't make the rules up about how this life works, right? And I wrote this in a book called To Sell Is Healthy, which published 5 years ago. Well worth a read if you're struggling with this type of challenge. Somebody long before me invented the rule that you needed some money to make it through this life if you wanted to have a good time. And in all of my lifetime of 44 years, nobody's come up with a better way of exchanging value yet than pieces of paper or a bank-to-bank transaction. So we've got to get our heads around it's an absolute fact that money is a transfer of energy. And the more energy that I bring to the transaction and the relationship, and the more value that I bring, and the more I can help you in your life, the more my skills are worth. And this has been going on for hundreds of years. The best carpenter in the small village 200 years ago made the most money. The average carpenter made an average salary. A poor carpenter back in the day made very little money. And it's no different to today. That this person, what's this lady's name?
This is Lindsay.
Lindsay. All right. Well, in Sanctuary City over there in LA, right? That doesn't help you either. That everybody's convinced everybody in all of these states that everybody should be given everything for free, right? And the mindset often is in California that you are. I'm sorry, I'm just going to bring it up. In California, you're told that you're greedy and it's your fault, and everybody else should have your money, and your profit is evil, and that the wealth tax and all of this stuff, right? Like you're being told everywhere you look in these states, in California's, in your New York's, in your Boston's, Massachusetts, wherever. Even in England now, you're being told that you're wrong for being successful, and you're going to be punished for it because all of the shit that these governments have done wrong, somebody needs to pay for it, right? And unfortunately, in somewhere like Los Angeles or California in general, this is the mindset of the majority over there. There's very few business owners. There'll be 10% business owners. So 90% of people are probably telling Lindsay that she's wrong for making money. And if she's not strong enough and not conscious of this, this will become a problem for her. And it'll always be Lindsay feels guilty for charging people money because everybody around is telling her that business owners are greedy, and anybody that's successful is greedy and ugly and evil and all of this bullshit that these Newsoms and AOCs and all of these people are coming out with on a regular basis. So Lindsay needs to face up at the beginning of it, the real challenge, the one that she can control. She can't control the crazy stuff and the crazies around it, but she has to face up to, she probably cares more about what people think about her and the opinion of her from people she cares more about than the money she has in the bank at the end of the month and the things that she can do with her kids. So when you reverse that, and if I said to Lindsay, you are more interested in what an individual says about you than the ability to give your family a terrific life, she'd immediately shoot me down. And everybody listening to this would shoot me down and say, that's disrespectful, it's disgraceful. But it's absolutely true, because you are more interested. If I'm not willing to raise my prices, it is because I care more about what other people think. But then equally, Lindsay goes home and tells her kids that she can't take them to Hawaii next summer for a month-long vacation because she doesn't have the money. Therefore, Lindsay's kids are missing out on great experiences because Lindsay cares more about what patient Steve, who she might never see again, thinks about her. So that's a fact, right? But it just isn't always explained that way. But the second thing that she has to understand, and this is the same for all of us, and it isn't just the craziness going on in California, because it's pretty much going on everywhere in the world now. You're to blame for everything. These governments want to blame you. The media wants to blame you. They want to blame us. Anybody that's successful in this life now is a target. I've been raised in Britain. I've lived in Florida for 7 years. Luckily, I'm in a state that does respect hard work and does still want you to kind of do well and enjoy your life and not punish you for it every minute of the day. But I've been raised in a country called Britain that pretty much now has given up, completely given up on any version of hard work, of entrepreneurship. Anybody that's working hard is being punished. Anybody that's working hard and fending for themselves is being kicked to the teeth, lied to by politicians and expected to be that stupid that they don't understand and can see with their own eyes what's going on. But why it's important for business owners is because they are unbeknown, unconsciously picking up on all of these things on social media and in the news and pretty much everywhere around them. So every mention of a wealth tax is basically it's your fault. Every mention of a taxes must rise on business owners is it's your fault. And the reality of it, it fucking isn't our fault, right? If it wasn't for us, the whole fucking system would collapse in the first place. It's absolutely the fault of the stupid politicians who've introduced pointless ways of spending money that nobody's benefited from for nearly 50 years. So I think you can't enter business without really understanding yourself and where and why you do what you do. And I don't think that you can be successful in business without understanding the forces that are against you and all around you. And one of them is, unfortunately, now the majority of the powers that be, they think you're the problem and you're the target. And that is undoubtedly playing into your, I don't want to raise my prices because everybody's going to think I am greedy. So you need to face up to that. That would be my thoughts. What else have we got?
We got a few here.
Lindsay, does that answer your question? I know I'll get the results. Yeah, why does it still figure out? So there you go. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have Canada again.
Canada.
Mustafa Physio.
Is there a tax? Are we taxing these guys? Is there an import tax on this? Is there a tariff? Just checking. Is there any tariffs on questions from Canada? Because I don't want a tax bill later on. So Mustafa, here we go.
Okay, so patients drop off after their insurance is exhausted. They don't follow the treatment plan.
Yeah. Why would they? Why would they? Because I would absolutely guarantee that Mustafa is waiting until the final session to discuss further treatment. Instead of explaining at the start that this is a 6-week journey and the cost is going to be $3,000, of which the insurance company is going to pay $15,000. And when we get to that point halfway through, we're going to continue. And we've already discussed the payment options and we've already discussed how that's going to be taken care of. And we're not going to do the classic thing that physios do, which is at session 6, when we need more sessions from the insurance company. In the last 2 minutes of the last session, we say that we'll talk to the insurance company about getting more sessions and we'll call you next week when they're authorized. And that is the bullshit way that 99% of insurance companies in most clinics around the world operate. And then they wonder why it doesn't work for them. The brave decision is to do it at the start. And I say to Steve or Sally or whoever my patient is, Sally, this is a 6-week program. You're going to need 12 sessions. It'll cost $3,000. Luckily for you, your insurance company will pay $1,500 of that. You'll only need to fund the extra $1,500. I can do that in 3 payments of $500 or 4 payments of $4, whatever you want to do. But if you want to work with me, this is how it works. That's what authorities do. That's what leading practitioners do. That's what people who really care about outcomes over and above a difficult conversation about money would do. And Mustafa, this isn't a Canada problem. This is I hear this in Britain. We hear this in Australia. This is a operational problem, and it's the way that your patient journey is allowed to exist. If I've done marketing and I've got a book out and I've done a webinar or I've done a workshop and people know who I am and I'm the guy in my city or my town, and they come to me persuaded to work with me, they pretty much do anything that I tell them to do. If you're just another regular physio and I found you on Yelp or I found you on a Google search and a free listing, you can expect that every one of your patients will drop off when the money dries up from the insurance company. And that's what the majority of physios around the world are doing. And that's why they're getting in the pain that they're getting. So there we go. What else we got?
Mustafa say love this, by the way.
Good, Mustafa. I love you.
All right. We got George from Dallas.
Dallas. Oh, I don't mind Dallas. We don't mind Dallas. Shit football team, but that's another story. Even I know that. Somebody asked me last night, what's the most profitable sports team in the world? It's Dallas, isn't it?
Yeah, they make
but
money-wise.
they've won sod all for 20
Nothing.
years.
Yeah.
How?
Let's not talk
Talk
Cam.
about a tragedy of justice. Like that's the greatest injustice in the world. That I can be dreadfully inept on the pitch and still make millions off it. So that's where is Cam? Is he around?
Yeah,
Is he
I see.
talking about him?
I don't know.
We do have a Dallas Cowboys fan.
He's hit it in the back.
He's been to at least one game.
That's good. George said, I've been able to fill up my caseload by myself, but I'm struggling to keep up with everything. What should my first hire be?
Front desk. AI voice front desk. So he's a solo practitioner by the sounds of it. This guy's, what's his name? George in Dallas. Sounds like he's a solo practitioner with a full caseload, struggling to keep up with everything himself. Is that correct?
Yes.
What should his first hire be? If you'd have asked me 8 months ago, I'd have told you a front desk. Asking me today, January 2026, I'm telling you an AI front desk, 24/7, who, by the way, a good one is already better than any front desk you will hire, period. Like they are already at the level, trained well, trained appropriately. An AI front desk assistant is already significantly better, more responsive, more attentive, more consistent, more emotionally apt. Did I mention consistent? Than any human being ever. And it's getting better every single day. If you are a busy solo practitioner and your caseload is full, stop trying to answer the phone, stop trying to play phone tag, stop trying to play voicemail callbacks and text message patients. It just screams of a lack of authority. And it will be one of the reasons you'll struggle to ever raise prices or scale, because you'll always just be doing admin stuff. A physio in Dallas is probably and should be charging $300 per hour. Yet you're doing admin work that might be $20. Why would you do that? Like, why on earth would you do that, right? And how long are you going to do that for before you realize that's your problem? I have a rule in my life. If anything costs me less than my hourly rate, I refuse to touch it. I will not clean cars. I won't clean the house. I won't go to the shops. I won't do anything, right? Like if it wasn't for the biological love for my kids, I would probably outsource the babysitting of my kids 24/7, right? But I won't touch a light bulb. I won't touch a shelf. I won't touch a paintbrush. I won't touch anything that somebody can be paid less than what I get paid every single hour. And it's been one of the most revolutionary things. It's a mindset thing. It's taking yourself seriously in a good way, not in a grim way kind of thing. It's taking your role responsibly. That what the hell, as a physio who went to college for 7 years, racked up $200,000 worth of debt, who can charge $300 an hour, why on earth are you doing $20 an hour worth of work? And that's not disrespectful to $20, $25 an hour work. Like that's fine, but you can't do that as the business owner. You have to do work that is at your hourly rate if you want to make the type of life that you want. So that would be my answer to George from Dallas. What else we got?
All right, that's good.
17 more minutes. We close this thing down at once. So I can see lots now. We've got a good following on Instagram. I can see Sam Pryor from Britain on there as well. I've got Richard Dexter 84. I've got Gary Cunliffe, Everton fan. We will forgive him. Daniel A. Gray has joined as well. What else have we got?
All right, we got Samantha from Tennessee.
Come on then, hit me.
I've stepped away.
Tennessee. Whereabouts in Tennessee?
It doesn't say here. Whereabouts, Samantha? But her question is pretty good. I stepped away from treating and pushed our DVs over to my therapist, but their conversion rates aren't good enough. We're averaging 40% conversion. They are trained by me and have shadowed my discovery visits. What steps do I need to take to see this turn around? Because I do not want to go back into treatment.
So the challenge is that the new physios are doing discovery visits, but the conversions are down. The obvious answer is role play. But the biggest question that I would ask is the attitudinal and belief of the physios that they've got. Because if attitudinally they don't buy into what they're doing and don't believe that they should be selling, then no matter what we do, it'll never fix. But the simplest way at discovery visits to get people bought in is to get them to just buy into the next session, is to stop thinking about a treatment plan or 12 visits or 3 months worth of treatment. the point of a discovery visit is to take somebody who's very skeptical into a micro commitment, which is the first session. So for me, there may be a bridge too far and that they're trying to sell a full package of care. I would slow this down, move them to one-off session, to a first session, a full eval where they've got to pay for it. And I would role play it, and I would now be using AI, voice it. I'd be using it in the AI role play assistant on every single discovery visit. Every single discovery visit, it is the ultimate. It's the quarterback position of a physio clinic, right? It's the player, the person that sets the play in an NFL game is the equivalent of the guy or the girl that does the discovery visit. So I'd be recording the session with the patient's permission, of course, and I'd be feeding it into an AI agent that gives feedback and tells the business owner where this individual went wrong. And very quickly, you'll find out whether or not they're following the script or not. And nearly always the issue is that these people, these PTs are just not following scripts, and primarily because they're not given scripts. They're just expected to get on with it. So I do feel for PTs quite often they're lambs to the slaughter, if you like. They're just thrown in and expected to do it. If in doubt, the business owner doesn't have to go back into treatment. They can often just go back in the discovery visit. I see that in very, very successful cash practices, that the business owner is doing the treatment, not doing the treatment, but doing the initial discovery visit. It's high value. What else?
We got Steve in Pennsylvania.
Steve in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
PT here.
I need cities. Come on, we need to have some fun. And what's the team in Pennsylvania? I think we should use this session where you Americans educate this naive British guy on the sports teams in these states. Yeah. Where we at in Pennsylvania? What's up there?
Pennsylvania? Oh man, it's just mountains and
sports teams.
Oh, sports teams. Pennsylvania.
Philly.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah.
Philly. So the 76ers, you got the Eagles.
The Eagles,
yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Where are we at? What does our producer think of the Eagles?
What do you think about the Eagles? Thumbs down.
Can we have some sound effects? Whenever you're ready. Not actually of an eagle. I meant like a.
No, those are crickets because we got no.
Right, we need to seriously update these sound effects.
Yeah.
Next episode, we got you.
Right.
Okay, Steve. So
Eagles,
yep.
we
So
got the 76ers.
yep. 76ers, Eagles.
What else?
Pennsylvania. Just near.
I went to. This will test me. I went to Hermitage in Pennsylvania about 5 years ago. I did a 5 cities in 5 days tour. And I ended up in Hermitage, and this was in 2019, just before COVID it happened. And I can only describe Hermitage as, has anybody seen the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Well, not far off from the Flintstones. Uber wasn't there. The hotels, let's say they were, the Motel 6 was the best in the town. Electric had probably just arrived. I'd never seen anybody with an iPhone. And the clinic that I went to see was the Roscoes, who were fantastic human beings and individuals and doing amazing. And they were the king and queen of Hermitage. So I remember flying into what would the airport have been? What's the major city? It wouldn't have been Philly.
Pennsylvania, DC.
No.
Where?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yes, 100%.
Pittsburgh.
100%.
Who's the native for you? I flew into Pittsburgh and I drove about an hour and a half by horse and cart to Hermitage. So it was quite the experience.
Oh, that's good.
Do you have a horse and cart sound effect?
No. We'll have it.
What are you paired me with here? What bunch of amateurs this? Come on.
Okay, Steve.
It's a professional show.
Steve said, I just added wellness and concierge service to my PT business in hopes to add more profitability to the.
Steve from?
That's Pennsylvania.
I was always still in Pennsylvania.
Yep. So he added wellness and concierge services to my PT business in hopes to add more profitability to the practice. It's going well.
So Steve's added concierge and wellness to his business in the hopes that it becomes more profitable. It's going well.
It's going well.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting this to explode in 2026.
Yeah.
How do I create a clear difference between physical therapy and wellness model that retains the people I want to work with, while also not distracting people that we can help in both wellness and physical therapy?
Okay, so how do we grow a wellness model without diluting the PT clinic? Is that the question?
Yeah.
So he wants to be more profitable in 2026, and he's worried that if he brings in wellness type clients, it affects his PT clients. Cool. So the answer is to not stop marketing for PT and use the PT patients as a filter to find people who want to then spend more time in the wellness area of the business. I would recommend that for about 18 months, that the marketing doesn't change for the business owner. Internally, it does. And everybody in the business is on board with some kind of wellness lab or some kind of wellness area inside of the business. And the internal marketing changes. We don't change Facebook or workshops or anything like that for about 18 months. And we build an internal sales process that looks to get, let's say, 20%. So look, statistically, 20% of your client, 20% of all of your clients want more than you're offering them. So there's 10 clients, at least 2 of them want more. So you sold them on some kind of recovery from back pain, but if you'd have asked them, they wanted the full enchilada. They wanted more. They wanted red light. They wanted some kind of wellness lab or some kind of thing to help them to stay active all year. And that could be shockwave, it could be hyperbaric, it could be stim pod, it could be any of these things. But you've got to know that there is at least 2 out of 10 and have all of your staff on board with looking for them. And that's how I would do it. And then once I've really nailed the model and I've got comfortable with the membership and I know how much I'm charging and what the message is and what they resonate with, then I'd be tempted to set up a slightly different marketing channel, maybe it's a different Facebook or Instagram account, and start marketing directly for those pain points to look for people to come into the wellness. So I wouldn't worry about it at all. It's perfectly normal and people are doing it very, very well. Use your PT business to find the 20% of the patients who want more than just physical therapy. That's what I would be doing.
All right. Mustafa's back.
Mustafa, is this right?
This is Canada. This is
the
Canada.
Canadians are always cheap up there. They always come back for 2. It's just Freeman's asking 2 questions.
He said,
no wonder Trump wanted to put an import tax on Canada. Right, come on.
Okay, he said, follow-up question.
Yeah.
This is $3,000.
Yeah.
Luckily, your insurance covers $1,500.
Mustafa, there was just a hypothetical number, right? It could, whatever. Right?
Here are your options to pay the remaining $1,500.
Yeah.
Do you collect that up front on the first visit, or how/when does that get collected? If I need to buy a course to get into the details of this, please direct me to it.
Right, Mustafa. You do need to buy a course, but I'm not going to withhold your because I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn this Q&A into it. But the program that we have for these types of things is called New Patient Accelerator. It's 10 years old, as in it's been around for 10 years. 900 students have gone through it, and it's the one that kickstarts nearly every successful story that I've got, right? That is the foundation program that you need for these types of things. But I'll give you your answer because I want to be that guy, and that's not what this is about. And by the way, when anybody joins any of our programs, you join it for community, and we can give you structured coaching and tactics, but most importantly, I can give you access to very successful business owners that you can learn from, and that's the value of my community. But I'll answer your question. So let's say it's $1,500 that somebody owes you. Do you collect that up front or on the first visit? The answer is ask them. Ask them what they want to do. This is how it's going to work. It's going to cost you an extra $1,500 after your insurance pays. We can pay upfront now, or do you want me to set up a payment plan and use some kind of ACH or direct debit or PayPal or whatever the language is? ACH in the US, direct debit in the UK, PayPal, Stripe offers 3-month payments, and start it straight away. The question of how they pay is up to them, in my opinion. You let the client decide how they want to pay. And in my experience of doing this for a decade and more, when I was running that business, very few people defaulted on it. Most people are good, honest, genuine people. Yes, there's a few idiots and a few dickheads and what have you, but not enough to worry about when it comes to running a business. I would, in the first session, Mustafa, I would be talking to them about how it's going to take 12. The insurance company will fund 6. Which is good. But this is the phrasing, Mustafa. You ready? The good news is, well, this is going to cost $3,000 to get the outcome that you want. The good news is the insurance company is going to pay half. That means you only need to pay half, Mustafa. And we can figure that out today with $1,500 now, or I can set up a payment plan for 3 payments of $550. What would you like to do? And bang, it's taken care of. And the key thing is that the client knows that they're on a 6-week or an 8-week journey with you. And we've also made them feel like they're getting half of their treatment paid for by the insurance company, not being punished at the other end because the insurance company wouldn't pay the rest. That's the subtle difference, Mustafa, in how you'll speak to your clients moving forward. And really, this is the game. I don't know whether you've got staff or if this is just you, but once you really get to understand how to communicate with people, this makes all of the difference. The money's already there in your business to get you to the next level. It's just tweaking the way that you speak, tweaking the way we talk to clients, the messaging in your ads, things like that. The world doesn't have to change that much for you to to add another 50 to 100 grand to your business, whatever level you're at this point. So we start with the program, New Patient Accelerator. Just send a little DM and I'll get somebody to talk to you about it. But that's probably where you need to start.
Okay, we'll give you this one is kind of brutal. This is
where's he from?
New York,
Buffalo.
Buffalo. He made sure to give you his Buffalo and PT.
Jim Kelly territory, but I love Jim Kelly. Speaker at one of my events up there in Buffalo Bills territory. Even I know that. What's Jim Kelly famous for? This will test you.
He's a speaker, isn't he?
He's a speaker.
He played football.
He played football.
Yeah. I know.
For? Yeah, but what is he famous for? Lost in the Super Bowl 4 times.
Oh, I see. I didn't even know that.
Come on, guys. What do you look do? Just like play on TikTok all in there or something?
Absolutely.
Do you know Tom Cruise? Do you know
yeah, I know. Okay, come on. Okay, this is AI related. This is real. He said, I already get irritated by the automatic phone answering service.
Yeah. AI
is just a nuance, and I do not tolerate it for something I deem to be not worth the effort.
Okay.
That's just what
he
said. That's just a statement.
Okay. So he has no tolerance for phone trees. What does he say? He doesn't like automated phone systems.
Yeah, I get irritated by automatic phone answering services. AI is just a nuance.
I think that what Jim might be failing to understand is the depth of the humanistic level now that AI is at. And this is funny because I put out a few quotes or videos on Instagram recently and Facebook about AI, and the number of people who reacted to it who said that they don't think AI is going to work, they don't think it's going to last, they don't think that it'll work in healthcare. Now, they all come from their own opinion, which is fine, and that's what most people do. But I could probably play you 1,000 phone calls in the last week that my Paul AI has answered for healthcare clinics. And at least 20% of them, at the end, the patient says, was I speaking to AI there? Was I speaking to AI? And very many of them make it through the phone call and actually arrive at the clinic and ask the business owner if the person answering the phone was indeed AI. Now, we've been doing that for 8 months for clinics. And in 8 months, it is unrecognizable how good it is in comparison to what it was in April 2025. April 2026, it'll be better again. People can come out with their opinions and their biases. And I think, unfortunately, for most people, they're comparing AI to Siri, is it? Or Alexa, or old-fashioned phone trees. And the other challenge that they've got is that you, at this point, are still speaking to a lot of generic AI in some businesses where it hasn't been trained appropriately. And my prediction in 2026, and this is certainly what I'm watching in sort of circles that I'm in, the challenge for most AI businesses who are selling AI is that they're very general and very generic. And they're running into all sorts of problems called being generic, right? And there isn't that much training going on. And there isn't that much understanding of who the audience is because it's being trained generically. So it's answering the phone, but it doesn't do it in a way that is humanistic or has any real representation of that business or that industry. But what you're watching of the AI that works very, very well is when it goes deep into a community, an ecosystem, something like physical therapy. Now, each and every day, the AI that we have is trained because thousands and thousands of calls happening every week. And my team are going in and improving the intelligence. And then you factor in the technology is improving all of the time. You know, the same guy probably uses GPT and has probably experienced in the last 6 months 3 updates on GPT because the intelligence level of GPT is getting better. Well, so too the voice technology and the intelligence of that, and it's becoming more humanistic every single day. So I would ask this gentleman to suspend his skepticism, refrain from bias, because if not, I suspect it's going to cost him a hell of a lot of money. And in somewhere like New York, if he thinks that most of his competitors are not already using, or doesn't believe that most of his competitors are not already using AI, I think he's living in La La Land. Like, he's living in California. He's living in La La Land, right? Quite literally, because it is happening and it is here. And most people come from a place of it can't be done and it won't work. When there are a few people who are like me, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, I have access to 100,000 phone calls that tell you it is happening and that patients are happy to book appointments. And that in many cases, the patient at the other end doesn't even know that they were speaking to AI. So, and to add to the AI, the final point, most of the problems will be from the staff, right? Most of your problems are going to come from the biases of your staff who don't agree with it or don't like it, or for whatever reason. So it's a whole new frontier that we all need to battle. It's 2026 as I record this. The world will, in terms of the healthcare clinic and the future clinic, I can't even imagine what it's going to look like in 2030. So you can either fight it and you can resist it, or you can get on board and you can figure it out and you can fail forward, is my opinion. But this is no different. The internet came along and loads of healthcare professionals said that they didn't like it and it was an invasion of their privacy and it was frightening, and credit cards came out and all of the people in the 70s or 60s or whatever said, I don't want to do this and I'll never use the credit card. And the social media came out and my mother said she'd never go on it, and now she's on it every day. Mobile phones came out, and when somebody was 17 or 18, I still remember, are you ready for this? I still remember getting my first phone. I was 17, so it would be 1998. And I remember saying, I was in denial about having a phone, right? And I always remember saying, I will only use it for emergencies. And my mother tried to pretend that it was for my car. I had a car at the time, and it would be in the glove box or the glove compartment, and it would be for emergencies only. That's what I was bought a phone for when I was 17. Less than 6 months later, I'd upgraded the plan, swapped phones, and I was completely addicted to the ability to send text messages to people. I had a phone back in the day where you couldn't send cross-network. That's how early I was to a phone. But the point was, nobody thought that they were going to use it to the level they were today. And nobody thought that you would text each other. That there wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even considered that you would, because it was impersonal. It was all of these things. And now here we are years later, nobody answers the phone and everybody texts, right? The exact same thing is going to go on with AI, and you can deny it all you want, guys, and you can be, critical of it and hypercritical, and many people are, and good luck to you. But there are enough people who've already proven for you that it works and that your patients will be happy to talk to it, because the news flash is, I'd rather talk to AI that's nice and polite and consistent and attentive than talk to a voicemail and hope and pray that your front desk, when she can be bothered, gets back to me after 72 hours after she's finished doing her nails and playing on TikTok, shuffling paper, responding to pointless emails, making 16 cups of coffee and looking busy for the day. Because I'm sorry, that's what the majority of offices are doing around the world. So there we go. All right, we done?
Yeah, that's it. That's
right.
The discussion.
First episode of Coffee with Goughy is up. We will be back. This will be a regular show. Look out on Instagram, where you will see us at the Paul Gough, is where we'll promote next week's time and date. So make sure that you check us out on at the Paul Gough is where we're going to be. And yeah, we've got some fun ideas for this show. So if you like it, great. If you don't, well, great, right? Whatever. We'll see you next week, and I hope the crew in my office are a bit more prepared next week with their global or their view of America geographically. And maybe it's one or two more sound effects, please, for our sound effect man.
I'm searching up Jim Kelly right now.
Okay, I'll educate you Americans on the geography of America. Don't you worry about that. Yeah.
You won't remember.
You know what? You won't remember. No, TikTok gets in the way. Right. So we're back next week with another Coffee with Goughy. Thanks for tuning in. Please follow us over on Instagram for more updates. That's where the conversation is happening. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe, get in touch, and I'll send you a free copy of my best-selling New Patient Accelerator marketing book. All right, I'm about to finish my coffee. This has been Coffee. We need a tagline. We'll have to come up with a tagline.
Yeah.
This has been Coffee with Goughy. I'll see you next week.